You guys inspired me. With all of the responses from the Jezebel video that I made, I thought, okay, I've got an idea. So I did a thing and I printed it, and I have a lot of, let's just say I'm gonna need a new print cartridge soon. Hi, welcome back to Far From Eden. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit like on your way in. I appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. Usually only get like, I don't know, 10 or 20 or 30% likes. And so I think it means the video doesn't get shared to a lot of places. And I kind of want, if it's gonna help people, I want it to help as many people as it can. So we made the Jezebel video, right? And I talked all about, you know, who Jezebel is and what to look for. Basically, I read something that the Transformed Wife had shared, and y'all really liked it and said, you know, more of this, please. So I thought, okay, without even coming up with it myself, which I could do, I thought about, well, let's choose this scripture or that scripture and let's analyze it and see, you know, modern day, because you're sure as heck not going to get that in church. And if you do at all, you're going to hear the snickering from the women folk, and probably the men folk too, if, you know, they don't want to be in the doghouse that night. I don't want to get into that, because that shouldn't be a thing. So I decided to ask Google to do a search, and I searched Bible verses about women. Oh my gosh. What came up was like empowering Bible verses for women, encouraging Bible verses for women, all this stuff. I finally found something that I thought might be, you know, traditional or something like that. But no, it went to an article basically saying that the Bible was written by men, and men dominated society. They wanted to keep women in their place. And that is the idea that I was, you know, in church. You're raised with this. I don't remember my mother, who was the one who taught us about Christianity. I don't think she ever said that. But I know that at some point in my upbringing, I started to think, well, times are different now. Things were different back then, and it was, you know, male dominated, so that's the way the Bible was written. That's not really what God wanted. I can't tell you where that came from, but I remember it being sort of a mindset. And then you get older and you start figuring out, well, I guess not all of the women do this, but I started figuring out what's going on in the world, and I figured out, oh, I was wrong about a lot of things, and could see it in my own parents. And anyway, you guys know, I've told you all about it in the past videos of how I got here. But I started going like, I don't think this is true. I think God meant what he meant. That's what I think. So anyway, I finally added the words traditional in King James Version, and we got 162 Bible verses about women. So I took a little glimpse to just make sure, and a couple of them were actually not about women. Of course, it's not the whole chapter, but so it could have been speaking to a woman. Maybe it was Ruth saying it, something like that, but it wasn't instructional. I was looking for basic, like, what's a woman for, you know? That's what they should add to that question. Not what is a woman, well, what is a woman for? Like, what is a woman's role? I think that's what should be happening. So anyway, I thought it'll be kind of fun to go through these. It's in no particular order. It's not a countdown of any type. And I just thought, let's go through it with our lens of how we have come to know, like, what women are and what men are and where we've gone wrong. I think it's interesting to revisit some of these things and go, oh, wow, I should have taken that way more seriously. Now, if you're not Christian, if you're not religious, I still think you might find this interesting, because Western civilization was sort of built around this book we call the Bible. So even if people weren't particularly religious, even if they were a deist, the society and the norms and the culture, all of that was based on, you know, what God said. I mean, that's why women, you know, I mean, just something as basic as women not being allowed to have a bank account on their own or open up a credit card, stuff like that. I mean, it has its roots here, which is a big reason why feminists will try to change this and, you know, infiltrate the seminaries and try to switch it all around and say, oh, that's not really what God meant. And I find that extremely pompous, to say the least, to be like, you know, that's not what he meant. I'll tell you what he meant. Anyway, let's go. Proverbs 31:10. Well, that's good. We're doing Proverbs 31, woman. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. It's all about priorities. Okay, let's talk about me. I take my hair seriously, because with all the stuff I go through in my life with the MS, it cheers me up. It's probably vain. It's probably vain. And that's not where my worth is. And it's important that I always remember that. That's not my value. That's not the most important thing. And I should be careful to not let it become that. I need to fear the Lord and be concerned with what He wants from me and be concerned with His priorities. So it's actually a really good one to start off with. All right. Titus 2:3-5. Another good one. I mean, they're all good. What am I talking about? It's like, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine. Careful. Oh boy, do we have a problem with that in our society? Yes, especially, you know, aged women. You know, these are women 35 plus with all their wine. Not given too much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. This is the transformed wives. This is like her mission statement. And that's what she does. That's what her writings are for. She is an older woman teaching the younger women. And I have learned so much from her. She's an amazing teacher of other women. It has really helped me to listen to her, to read her writings, and just how you just basically, women, you gotta, you know, suck it up and do the right thing. I have a person in my life who's a 25-year-old woman. She's a Christian, but it's sort of a modern Christian. She's married. I have warned her about making a choice to not have children. I've talked about my mistake in doing that, and that I thought, you know, being a horse trainer and being a riding instructor was all that I needed. And we've talked a little bit about her husband and some struggles that she's having, you know, there. And so I do my very best to not alienate her, not criticize her, but to give her good advice I told her about my own decision about not having children, and I warned her. And I have told her that I would pray for her to have patience with her husband, that when she prays for her husband, that she not pray to God how to fix him or what the husband needs to do, but pray to God that he would be, doing better. And pray that she has patience also. So, I think, I want to make sure that I am doing right by her by leading her in the right ways of womanhood. So, that's my little story about that. I want the best for her, and the best for her is to follow God. And she's married, so there's no good in saying, well, you didn't choose right, or this, that, or the other. No, you're married, and you need to be a good wife to him. And if he's not leading, you wait, and you pray. Anyways, Psalm 46:5. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. I don't exactly know what that last part means. We might need to see the full chapter for that. But that's the thing, is when you are a woman and you put God first for real, not just bumper sticker, but like seriously in your life, like God's right there, and what would he say and what would he have you do? There's a strength that she has that is not her own. And you don't see a lot of women with that kind of strength. I notice these days that strength, strong and independent, but it's also like, I don't think they know what strong means. Because strong people are patient. Strong people can hold their tongue. And I don't think that's what they're doing. Okay. Here we go. This is the one that gets all the snickers in church. Ephesians 5:22-24. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. Let's just stop right there. Submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. So do for your husbands like you do for God. Well, what do we do for God? We obey him. We revere him. That's a pretty dang strong statement about how we're supposed to look at our husbands, right? It's not saying, oh, you're a partner. You guys are like a power couple. This is not be thou a power couple. Here we go, even more. For the husband is the head of the wife. You know what they're always saying? The husband is the head of the household. Is he the head of the household? I don't know where that came from. He's the head of the wife. What does that mean? He's the boss of her. Even as Christ is the head of the church. And he is the savior of the body. Now, a lot of times this is where that gets twisted. Oh, well, Christ sacrificed himself for the church. He laid down his life. So these dudes in the church are like following their wives and obeying their wives as if that's what the church did for Christ. No, that's not how it was. Men love their wives sacrificially. They work. They would, protect her with their body. They would fight for her and the children. But he's the boss of her. That's the other thing, is like the MRA guys who want everything equal and hate chivalry and all that. They say, a lot of them, that the problem started here in the Christian church with men deferring to women. But what they forget, and what I don't understand why they don't get this part of it is crucial, is yes, in some ways, the men deferred to the wife. Did he provide? Yes. Did he protect? Yes. And that's where they go, oh, well, why should he have to protect and provide? She should have to protect and provide too. She's doing something else. He's protecting and providing. She is under his authority. She is to manage that house and his children the way he wants. She is to take care of him too. Cook, clean, serve. And I know that this sounds to feminists and modern women like, oh, that's abusive. No, it isn't. It's not. It's this side does this and this side does this, and it's equal. That's equal. They're both sacrificing for each other. The woman sacrifices whatever agenda she might imagine she has outside of the husband. If he says, hey, I do hunting and fishing and I'm going to work in the gaming industry, and so we're going to live out in, the boonies, she's going to live out in the boonies. There's no, well, I need to talk to my wife about that. No, there's not. And the other thing is, you don't have to do this. Like, I'm not telling anybody they have to do this and I want laws to enforce this, because you can't make laws to enforce this. This is a choice. Everything to do with God is a choice. He doesn't force you to choose him. It's not what he wants. It's not what he's ever wanted. He made that clear. That's why this country was based on freedom. That's where that came from. That you can be like, no, I don't want to participate. He doesn't want to force anybody to participate in his deal. I don't either. What I'm saying is, this is what works. This is how people are happy. But the feminists and modern women will say, no, that's abusive. And the MRAs will say, oh, it's not fair to men. And really, when a man goes out and provides for his family and protects his family, he feels very fulfilled. He feels like a very strong sense of purpose. And I'm not deciding that for them. I'm just reporting what they've told me. So I know that that's where they feel fulfilled. And that's why so many men are so lost right now, because they don't have that. They don't have anybody to provide for. They don't have anyone to protect. So it's just an empty existence. And women are not in their proper role in subjugation to the husband under his authority. So everything is chaotic, and they lack direction, and they're lonely, and they're making poor decisions. And yeah, they end up alone. I'm laughing at Kevin Samuels' Buy a Dog and Die Alone. We're about to see a massive wave of women who are alone. Because that's what they chased greener pastures, and they ditched their husbands, or they never got a husband because they were too busy with their career, or, whatever their own interests were. Nothing that God said that was good for them. God's not out there to make rules for you to make your life awful. He makes rules for you same way a parent does. The parent doesn't teach you to look left and look right before crossing the street because they want to make your life a bummer. They do it because they don't want you to get run over by a vehicle. So when God says, hey, maybe don't drink too much wine. Hey, maybe don't have sex outside of marriage. It isn't because he doesn't want you to have fun. It isn't because of that. It's because when you make those decisions, like being promiscuous, you cause more pain in your life. Heartbreak, STDs, all kinds of unwanted pregnancies, all kinds of issues that you will not have if you just weren't promiscuous. He tells you these things, these rules, to protect us from ourselves. And that's what children don't understand, because they're children. And they get frustrated and angry and gonna have a tantrum, and I wanna eat candy for dinner. Well, you're gonna be sick if you eat candy for dinner. And you're not gonna grow right, and your immune system's gonna be messed up, and you're gonna have a stomach ache and all this stuff, right? But The kid's like, no, I want candy for dinner. That's us right now. It was especially women. That's especially women right now. Having a big old tantrum. We don't want to follow these rules. These rules are not fair. These rules are, not fun. Don't let us have any fun. And it's God's like, I'm trying to, give you a framework that if you live within it, you're going to be so much more fulfilled and happy. But we are rebellious. We women are rebellious. Eve, what about Abraham's wife, right? She was like, I'm not going to get pregnant. I'm not going to get pregnant. God's like, I know you're old, but I got you. I'm going to make you pregnant. I'm going to make you pregnant. And she's like, I don't think I'm going to get pregnant. I don't think I'm going to get pregnant. Hey, how about this handmaid over here? Hey, Abraham, get her pregnant because I can't get pregnant. Get her pregnant. And for whatever reason, he did it. He listened to her. I guess he didn't know about Adam and Eve, how Adam listened to Eve. And he listened to her, got her pregnant. And guess what happened? Sarah then got pregnant and had Isaac. Oops. Should have followed what God said. Remember, old Sodom and Gomorrah? Remember Lot? He was the one that God said, if you can find one follower there, I won't destroy the cities. Lot couldn't find anybody. He was like, uh-oh, this whole place is full of sin and debauchery, degeneracy. Probably looks a little like San Francisco, New York right now. And God's like, all right, well, take your family and get going. But don't look back. So he told his wife, all right, here's the deal. We're getting out of here. But don't look back. You know what that chick did? She looked back. She had one job. Don't look back. She looked back. Turned to a pillar of salt. Why? Because she was still connected to whatever that sin was back there. She did not have the right mindset of looking forward to what God had said. She's looking back to that, sin and debauchery and all the rest of it. And you just don't do that. But that's what I'm just saying. Like, we are rebellious. So, we will end this one with another little snippet from the Proverbs 31 woman. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She will. She will. A lot of times this life is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be fair. Following God's advice makes it a bit better. When we do our own thing, we make a giant mess out of it. And you can really see that with the women. And it's my contention that this is why we're in the mess we're in. There's a lot of things we can talk about. We can talk about family court. We can talk about false accusations. There are so many issues that are awful. And we can talk about men deciding to do their own thing, go their own way, because it's a normal reaction. It's the only reaction that makes any sense. Like, why would you participate in marriage and all the rest of it when, half your stuff can get taken and your kids can get taken and you can be accused of everything and your kids are used as leverage. So there's all this mess, and we kind of get buried with all these things. And we go, well, what is it? What's the cause? Is it feminism? Is it this? Is it that? And it's like, yes. But I know this goes all the way back to the beginning. And that's why my channel is called what it's called. Because we are very far from Eden. And the moment that Eve listened to that serpent that she'd never met before, just a stranger, and she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to believe you. Instead of believing God who loves me, I'm going to go ahead and believe you, stranger who's a serpent. I'm going to go ahead and do that. The moment she made that decision, it's a direct line to where we are now. And I think it's at least, at the very least, interesting to see, well, what did God originally say, right? And if you're not Christian, you can at least look at it as a historical, the way we historically looked at women and men, and if it worked or not, because it certainly worked a heck of a lot better than it's working now, right? I think, can we all agree on that? I think so. So anyway, we've got more to come of this, and I think it's going to be good. It's going to lead to good conversation. I really look forward to you guys' comments on this. Disagreements are always welcome. Your experiences you guys are really knowledgeable on all of this stuff. So I will once again learn from reading your comments. But don't forget to hit like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I can't believe how fast the channel is growing. It blows my mind. I never thought that it would. I just really didn't. I don't know what I thought, but anyway, I'm glad we're all here now. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And I hope you have a really nice evening and take care of yourselves. And love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.